Hello and welcome back to our Rogue Trader Sniper Elite or Range Specialist Hard playthrough. I'm Shadowcus, welcome to the channel. We just escaped Reykjavik Norse and returned to our ship. Let's pick up where we left off. Master Vigdis, thanks be to the Emperor you are alive, your lordship. We are most gratified by your return and the crew is full of zeal to carry out any orders you may have. Before anything else, I will hear an account of what happened to the system's sun. The Vox Master falters. Lord Captain, we saw a number of ships approach the sun, black creations of inhuman make, amalgams of sharp angles and edges. They surrounded the star, and then, my apologies, but I struggle to find words that could describe that terrible sight. The Xenos made the sun vanish into the void. Drukari, Henrik says. You see Abelard's expression change as if a shadow had suddenly fallen over him. He rubs his temple wearily, as if we did not have enough troubles on our hands already. Lord Xenos successful. The Xenos enemies of humanity? A breed of the Eldari, the most cruel and devious of their kind. The design of their ships matches the description provided by the Vox Master. Like all Xenos, the Drukari are a blade on the face of the galaxy, but their technological superiority is indisputable. They arbor and fear warp sorcery, which is why they rely on creations of their twisted intellect, and many of those creations are capable of things that may seem akin to sorcery or unenlightened or to the sorcery to the unenlightened eye. The theft of a sun is one example of what they are capable of. That is crazy. They stole the sun or a star. Are the Xenos in league with Aurora's cultists? We can rule out that possibility. Ducati would never ally themselves with the archenemy's worshipers. If I had to name one thing that humanity and the Xenos have in common, it would be a shared loathing for warp corruption. Henrik glances around. The situation calls for immediate action, Shadow Coast. We can continue this conversation later if you wish, but right now, he gestures to the deck teeming with tumultuous activity. I believe you should assume command. Alright, what is the current status on board? The navigator's sanctum is no longer empty, but the warp engine is still refusing to obey the engine seers. Without it, we cannot perform a warp jump. Alright. Pascal Vox buzzes anxiously in his Vox. It may be angry, or perhaps it is lamenting the injuries it has suffered. I'll immediately initiate preparations for a prayer service. If the Omnissiah grants me comprehension, I'll appease the machine spirit of this vessel. And what's happening on the planet now? Our auger operators are reporting numerous uprisings, other manifestations of the Archenemy's powers at various locations on the planet. Based on the fragments of communications picked up by our Vox operators, there is practically no resistance being offered by the governor's forces. Millions of people are converting to the blasphemous Final Dawn cult en masse and assembling in prayer circles. Alright, do we have any hope of retaking the planet? I fear the Reykjavik Norse is lost. The situation is deteriorating by the minute. We must leave the system as soon as possible. However, there are still people on the planet who have not succumbed to heresy and who are worthy of rescue. Besides a small number of our own shuttle, we also have the shuttle salvaged from the starport. The dark eyes of the sister battle flash. We must save as many as we can. This has all happened for a reason. Saint Argenta, whose name I carry with reverence and trepidation, is famed for saving the people of a dying world through the power of prayer. The God Emperor himself sent a star from the heavens that lifted this saint and her followers up to the sky, away from corruption and death. We must do as she did, direct all our efforts to saving those people who at this moment look to the heavens in hope of salvation. The lives of peasants are of little value. Our prime objective is to save the holy relic, the miraculous fusion reactor, and the electro priests who guard it. Abelard furrows his brow. Every moment we spend in proximity to a dying world, we are putting ourselves at risk. Your life, Lord Captain, is far more valuable than all the Reykjavik Norse. Von Valencia's dynasty cannot be allowed to perish. And so, lamentable though it is, we must rule out the idea of any evacuation. Henrik's eyes, like two deep dark pools, are resolutely fixed on you. The world is doomed and its inhabitants along with it. The disappearance of the star was a final nudge towards death, the finale of the cult of the Final Dawn's plans. I once witnessed a similar event, a world that had surrendered to the servants of the Arch-Enemy and permitted corruption to enter too deep. At this moment, millions of people are bowing down before those who promised them salvation, and they are willingly giving over their souls to chaos, a sacrifice great enough to bring forth a demon world. Our only hope of stopping this process is to retreat a safe distance from the planet and conduct a targeted bombing of the Electro Priest Monastery. We blow up the reactor, the thermonuclear reaction will follow. The world's oxygen will evaporate, killing off the entire biosphere. In doing this, we will save millions of souls from a fate far worse than death. It will save Reich and Minoris from becoming an outpost of the Ark enemy. Whatever fate you choose for this world, Cassius says, I urge you to make haste, Lord Captain. The planet is burning in raging flashes of crimson and purple. I can see it even from orbit, as I do see that the storm is already upon us. With every moment that we waste, it grows even more difficult and perilous to steer the ship the warp's turbulent currents. I'm with the lady on this. Enough talking. We need to get out of here while we still can. Something lurking in the depths of your consciousness bristles with the passing thought of saving people. The speck of horror you feel takes your breath away. It's as if you are planning to steal the prey of a mighty predator. The planet is already wrapped in a thread stretching from the warp. It deserves to have a new master. Um, alright. Why can we not try to evacuate at least some of the people? For the simple reason that the transformation process will soon become irreversible and our sole weapon against it is useless. The energy released by the bombardment could stroke the warp energies. I have never witnessed the aftermath of a bombing of a demon world before, but there is enough evidence of such attempts for me to say with confidence that you do not want to see it. Which of the planet's inhabitants can we evacuate? The nobles you rescued at the starport have given the coordinates of shelters where we can find surviving aristocrats and their families. As for Sergeant Malgar's troops, they will help to control the crowds of frightened commoners and prevent the shuttles from being overrun. Thanks to you, we have salvaged many shuttles from the starport that we can now use. Um, my goodness, there's no iconoclast here. Um, we're going to say the miraculous fusion reactor must be saved. Alright. Any delay caused by loading and transporting to the ship will cost us precious time. Do not deceive yourself, Shadow Coast. If you indulge in your vanity, you will doom billions to eternal torment at the hands of the Ark enemy. Alright, don't forget yourself, Integrator. One more objection from you now shall forget all about the need to deliver you to Footfall alive. Iconoclast plus 15, that's good. Detective Flicker is something beneath Henrik's sanguine mask. Whatever it may be, it does not seep to the interrogator's dispassionate voice. In that case, I consider it necessary to point out that the mark of the Ark enemy could infiltrate the ship with a priest escorting the reactor. Keep that in mind in the future. Consider it done. It is likely our shuttles will have capacity to evacuate some people as well. Alright, nobles. I have the pilots extract all of the commoners who have not yet converted to the cult of the Vinyl Dawn. Consider it done. This will bring us to the limit of our capabilities. We have no more shuttles to use for the evacuation effort. Alright. The bridge is in upheaval. The techno-match prayer mixed together in a senseless cacophony of servitors work hastily to remove the hard crust of sacred young guns from the warp engine's components. In the middle of all this tumult stands Pascal, the data slate clutched in his hand, seemingly disconnected from the flurry of activity around him. What's going on in here? The warp section is not responding to commands. The ship spirit is rejecting our prayers in anger. I'm currently calculating a plea that might appease the noble spirit. Alright. Uh, um, we're not going to interfere. The hectic storm of the prayers and haphazard rituals rages on. Pascal, still as a statue in the eyes of the Yoster, makes no attempt to bring it under control. Master Vigdis, your lordship, warp spawn have invaded the ship. We have blocked advance by depressurizing one of the infirmaries in their path. It was only a temporary measure. The crew have been ordered to arm themselves and pray for the success of the Lord Captain and the engines here prime. Alright. Magos, why don't you assume control of the Technomech? Surely their contributions will speed things up. They would only be a hindrance. I am searching for a way to rectify that error. Alright. Crew, heed the word of Magnus, Hunima, and Pascal. I kindly request that you take charge of this mess. Thank you, your lordship, you are right. Pascal voices changes when he addresses the crew. He now speaks with authority and resolve. Techno comrades, heed my instruction. The mayhem immediately subsides. The crew actions fall into some indiscernible logic. The Omnissiah's servants start working in sync, and the binaric clamor becomes a symphony of reports, which the Magos coordinates with like a skillful conductor. So we're going to invest in our people as an icono class. Admirably done, Pascal. The Omnissiah guides me. The prayer for the tech priest surrounding the cogitator almost drowned out the sounds of the bustling bridge behind you. Pascal, pouring intently on the data slate in his hands, extends a mechanizer toward you. Please take your place at the cogitator, Lord Captain. Alright, we're not going to ask. The huge machine in front of you is lit with dozens of vid screens and hundreds of lumens. The blinking lights and the endless rush of symbols and digits in the green background make your eyes water, and a vague sense of alarm simmers in the depths of your mind. The typical reaction of a layperson when confronted with the magnitude of the Omnissiah's creation. Among the numerous controls, you see the mouth of a cyber gargoyle, the same as the gate to the warrant chamber. Pascal's voice becomes imbued with an imperious voice. Servants of the machine god, heed my command. Acolytes, prepare the incense instrumentation for liturgy of machine spirit appropriation. Senior technomancer, recite the prayer to generate a current data report. Operations will be marked with a campanological protocol. Omnissiahs rejoice. I must inform you that for the purpose of safety, complete reassembly of the warp sections and updating of the data smith blessings are required. If this is not done, then at launch, the volume of aggregated calculation error could result in the destruction of the data crypts. But as we do not have 100 hours at our disposal, we must omit the procedure. Pascal looks down at the data slate in his hands. A minor deviation from the rite of operations for the sake of appeasing the spirits. Alright, what must I do? Place your hand inside the throat of the cogitator guardian. The cyber gargoyle, which has been assigned to guard the forbidden data crypts. The dynastic blood extracted from your veins will serve as a key to the data core where the machine spirit dwells. To it, we will offer a prayer so that we may bypass the protected protocol for defective connections and launch the warp sextant. Pascal's voice grows quieter. The laws of the Omnissiah know no exception, and so it is this ritual will remain by your side to placate the wrathful machine spirit in whose abode you will be intruding. Follow my liturgies, Lord Captain, and we may receive his blessing. Alright, let's get this done. We place your hand in. The metal jaw is clamped down on your hand, breaking your delicate corporeal sheath, releasing warm red liquid into its gullet. At the same moment, the image of the vid screen for you changes. Connecting. What does it all mean? At the sound of the voice, cogitator's servant, whose bronze-bound skull is built into the cogitator's heading shutters. With a screech, its skull rotates towards you and then stops at that position. Relevant code, a voice receptor. Pascal emits a sequence of binary signals and then it's silent for several seconds. I hypothesize that the defect is located in the analyzer blocker. I register a reaction to the signal, but no processed response. Temporary override is permissible. Alright. Magos intently studies the vid screen. The shell was created on a forged world unknown to me, initiating standard invocations of machine spirit. Pascal leans over in the adjacent instrument panel and sets his hands on the controls. At the same time, a quiet stream of machine code begins pouring from the box. Alright, what should I do now? Lord Captain, I now ask that you address the machine spirit. Speak to the following command. By my authority, I revoke the inviolability protocol of the warp engine. The voice receptor will receive the vocal entry. Without your sanction, the machine spirit will not accept the data from the warp sextant. Alright, we're gonna do it. When the cogitator's vid screen turns red, Pascal sees this and raises his hand, signaling for the rest of the tech priest, then withdraws a connector from his sleeve and connects to the machine. Servants of the Omnissiah, make now the offering of cleansed data crypts to the machine spirit so that it may be filled with their true and calibrated data. May the Omnissiah have mercy on our souls. In meek solemnity, the acolytes offer up the cleansed data crypts to the warp engine one after another, repeating prayers of exaltation. After anointing the contacts with sacred unguents, Pascal inserts them into the cogitator's slots. The air begins to spin from the holy censer's foul-smelling clouds of smoke and from the loss of blood that the cyber gargoyle continues to drink from you. The world swims before your eyes. Let this mechanism awaken in renewed purity. Pascal enters a sequence of commands and raises his head, watching the vid screen. Suddenly he stops dead. No! His finger flies over the command runes, entering command after command. His mechanizers, clicking their pincers, pull at one lever after another. The vid screen is filled with strings of symbols, completely incomprehensible to you, but clearly conveying something to the Magos. Alright, what's happening? After a few seconds, one of the data crypts mounted on the conjugator begins to emit sparks. A moment later, another data crypt does the same. Next bursts into flames and gives off a foul-smelling smoke. Around you, the omniscient servants break off their prayers and someone bursts in frantic pleading. Pascal mournfully grates out. The massive errors of the warp sextant sky is destroying the data repositories. The offering did not appease the ship's spirits. The warp engine cannot be filled with the motive force. We are trapped. A moment later, the Magnos continues uncertainly. Perhaps an alternative Horizon protocol, or an emergency launch of the auxiliary coils. That creep bends over the cogitator, but something in his pose and movements reveals his desperation. Alright, while the other vid screens are filled with more and more strings of symbols, the monitor in front of you blinks and the static image changes. Pascal is too engrossed in the ritual to notice. Read the information on the vid screen. Input, stab true, stab false, stat check init, perturb reg, disturb reg, nominous, query, uh, machine spirit, can you hear me? The cogitator servant creaks quietly in its joints, his sound that is drowned out by the binary chimes and tapping command runes. Prompt ping, rep, injury, rescue, query. Rescue, yes, machine spirit, rescue us. Lord Captain, the excessive motion in your command will render it unintelligible to... Let's go. Next vocalization goes unsynthesized as he sees the vid screen begin to stabilize one after another. The strings frenetically galloping across the screen's background are replaced with stable images of regularly updating status reports. Only one monitor remains inexplicably red. Tech Priest, Foxtrot goes in shock, but his report is as clipped and clinical as ever. Registering warp sectants activated. Registering data stream stabilizing. Registering 0 data errors found. Reporting the warp engine is ready for translation. After a pause, Pascal adds, I am also reporting evidence indicating a Category 3 miracle fulfilling the criterion. Thou shalt witness the mechanism that toys in glorification of its function in defiance of deactivation. Alright, Lord Captain Raver here. The crew are almost finished carrying out the orders given earlier, and I've just received confirmation that from the engine steering halls. I do not know what you did, but the warp engine's up and rearing to go. We're ready to begin the translation of warp, your lordship. What just happened? I hypothesized that the ship's spirits heard our prayers and intervened. It summoned the power of the Omniscience to do something beyond my comprehension. Alright. I know literally Omniscience sacred machines, but what I saw on the screen looked strange. A non-standard output of information lost in the data core. The servers use the data conduits are not always fully lobotomized. Fragments of their thoughts can appear even in pure code. Alright. It appears the Omniscience perceives and knows the power of your faith, Pascal. He would not have worked this miracle otherwise. I hope he will grant me a revelation that will allow me to comprehend the nature of this miracle. Alright, Lord Captain speaking. I give the order to commence translation to the warp. Waiting for you to ascend to the Captain's throne, Lord Captain. May the Emperor protect us. We might have just damned millions or billions to chaos.
Valencia's flagship made its way out of the doomed star system. As the void shift plunged deeper into the Corona's expanse, the rogue trader's subjects bid a formal farewell to the late head of the dynasty, Theodora von Valancius. Having paid their last respects, the crew gathered their strength and braced themselves for whatever was to come next.
So that was the end of chapter 1, according to Steam achievements. Master Vigdis, Lord Captain, allow me to report our journey through the warp is coming to an end. Lady Navigator Ocelio informs me that we have reached the point where we can translate to real space in the Farabunda system. Lady Navigator and her pilots are awaiting your permission to begin the process. The Farabunda system is home to football, the only Imperium outpost with a functioning wharf in the Coronis expanse. The tech priests are begging you to have mercy on the machine worn down by the warp and to allow service to the Omnicide to inspect and heal the void ship's wounds in the dock. The prayers and rituals will take some time, which our astropathic choir will use to establish connection with the prime worlds of your protectorate, Dargonis, Janus, and Kiavagama. Master Zachary Weiss has recovered an invitation previously adrift in the Immaterium. The Liege of Footfall has humbly requested an audience with a rogue trader of the Von Valencius dynasty. According to Master Zachary, the message was tinted with shades of pleading. I quote, apparently the Liege is anxious to meet you as soon as possible. Footfall, the place where filth and sanctity go hand in hand. Reverend Hieronymus Doloroso will most likely expect a visit from me. I imagine he will be interested in talking to you as well, Shadow Coast. I'll be leaving your voyage ship when we arrive on Footfall, Shadow Coast. Once this is done, consider the Lord Inquisitor's task complete. Your lordship, we're just crewing up quests to knock out. Your lordship, young Yvain Winterscale, has asked me to convey his gratitude for your hospitality and for saving him from certain death. Not wishing to outstay his welcome, he plans to disembark at Footfall. Lord Yvain swears he will not forget his debt to you. I like to talk to him, but that's okay. I hereby inform the rogue trader that during the comprehensive system inspection right, this unit discovered data clusters within the captain's cogitator that are concealed from prying eyes by means of a personal cipher and sacrament of algorithmic authorization. Um, Unit Shadow Coast Von Valencius has been added to the access list and assigned the identifier Keeper 2. So remember that Keeper 2. The unit can access the data from the captain's cogitator provided that he possesses the encryption key. Detect a hint to something resembling curiosity in Pascal's mechanical voice. Alright. Are you leaving us, Henrix? Alright, the arrangement between the Lord Inquisitor and your predecessor was that I be transported to Footfall and no farther. I dare not take advantage of your generosity and patience any more than I already have, Shadow Ghost. Alright. You are a skilled fighter. I could use people like you. What do you say we extend your stay to my retinue? Thank you for the offer, but I must decline. I'm afraid my duty to the Golden Throne comes before everything else. Alright. See ya, Henrix. Argenter, who is Reverend Harmonious and who wants to talk to me? He's the head of the Drushian mission on Footfall and one of the most prominent clergymen in the sector. Paying him a visit is a good thing for any loyal servant of the Emperor to do. I assisted his mission before I joined Lady Theodora on our voyage. I need his blessing to accompany the new rogue trader of the Von Valencius dynasty. If you wish to have me aboard your voyage ship, I request that we meet with Reverend Harmonious. Alright, Rigdis, tell me about the system. Furibindus is valuable due to its close proximity to the Maw, the gateway to the Imperium. The system is mostly known for Football, the main base for merchants, privateers, and rogue traders traversing the Cronus Expanse. Additionally, the star itself is orbited by an Adeptus Mechanicus station, which is off limits to outsiders. Altar Temple and Calixtus Exit XEXT-17 have the honor of attending to the shrine for a few thousand cycles. I suggest you abstain from visiting it, as most tech comrades at the station are engaged in meditative calculations should not be interrupted. What do I need to know about Footfall? It is the largest port and trading capital of the Cronus Expanse. It has a dark air that allows us to inspect and repair the void ship, and it boasts its own astropathic choir, the Cronus Expanse's communication nexus. Not to mention pirate hideout, smuggler caches and forts belonging to a dozen gangs, groups, and factions. The Cronus Expanse Imperium relies on this as an outpost. The fringes of the community domain rarely resemble its central worlds, but so long as Footfall serves the God Emperor insofar as it can, we consider it a citadel of the Imperium. Although I have heard that the tiths that it sends are underwhelming to say the least. Due Due to Footfall's remoteness, it has developed its own rules and customs. Many of the goods that can be procured there would be considered heresy in the heart of the Imperium, enough to warrant summary execution. Moreover, Footfall is a domain of the rogue traders who transcend certain Imperial laws by the virtue of the warrant they bear, which includes us. Footfall is just a brief stop. What's next? As soon as we solve the issues plaguing the ship and establish contact with the key roads of your protectorate, the time will come for your Magna SSCO, the official ceremony of donning the mantle of the rogue trader. It is mostly a formality at this point. You already possess all the privileges granted by the warrant, and yet it is a major milestone in your personal history. The moment your name graces the list of heads of the Von Valences dynasty. We are all looking forward to that day, Lord Captain. I thank you. Abelard, do you know anything about the Liege of Footfall? Vadim Takara is a very peculiar young man. Consider your upcoming conversation a baptism of fire in Footfall's political arena. Such things are not spoken out loud, but Lee Shakor is an appointee of the Casablanca mission, the largest robber baron crime syndicate in the Calixtus sector. They specialize in the coal trade, the illegal trade of commodities and artifacts of Xenos origins. They're buying and selling all kinds of Xenos rubbish. Footfall was previously run by a liege who did business with several criminal factions at once, but he suffered an accident. The reins of power were picked up by Vladimir Takara, whose appointment benefits not only the Casa Balica, but also their most powerful ally in the Cronus Expanse, rogue trader Caligos Winterscale. Vladimir is a slippery yet very cautious fellow. He does not usually beat around the bush and does not play mind games. Perhaps more importantly, he is no fool. Fools do not rise as high in the Casablancan hierarchy. Keep that in mind. You are a rogue trader, you stand above him in status and wield considerable power. Having said that, history has seen cases where the Casablancan barons cross swords with the rogue traders and emerge victorious. Do not forget that, and remain vigilant. Casablanca, vile tech thieves. Pascal Vox barks out the last word like a profanity. Why does the Legion want to see me so bad? Not you personally. He wishes to meet the rogue trader of the Von Valence's dynasty. Takar does not know about Lady Theodora's death and is simply seeking an audience with the powers to be. My gut is telling me that something must be wrong. On Footfall, if our astropath managed to read such strong emotion in such an anodyne message. We have no information, Lord Captain. The broadcast from the Footfall Astropathic Choir was the only missive Master Zachary has received lately. Alright, tell the Lady Navigator I give her leave to make the translation from warp into real space. Big Dis begins ensuing construction. A massive ship appears to change with her every word. The bridge is set in motion, and hundreds of people start to prepare for a shift to real space, and measured chanting fills the corridors to safeguard the vessel from it and its crew. Big Dis turns to you again. One more thing, Lord Captain. No one at the station knows about Lady Theodora's demise and you inheriting the title. Lee Shakar will be informed. It is required so that we can use the dock, and besides, he's expecting a personal audience with the rogue trader. He will not meet with an unknown person of unclear standing. However, there is still the matter of announcing your arrival. You can either arrive at the station with a proper pomp and ceremony, or choose to visit incognito. Alright, tell me in detail how these choices will benefit me. According to Footfall's unwritten laws, rogue traders enjoy special privileges that exceed even the power of the Liege. However, they may choose not to exercise those privileges in certain situations. Arriving incognito will give you more room to maneuver, while an official visit will allow you to directly intervene in local affairs. I shall explain if you do not mind. According to the unwritten rule, every rogue trader arriving at the station has the right to veto any of the Legion's decisions. But there is a catch. The Cronus Expanse is home to several influential rogue trader dynasties, and Footfall is where their interests intersect. Of course, that does not prevent certain persons, namely Caligos Winterscale, from subtly pulling the strings in Footfall. If you, as a new rogue trader, start your career with an official landing and a parade in your honor, the other dynasties may see this gesture as a newcomer challenging their spheres of influence. I do not see this as a bad thing necessarily. Old man Winterscale may take slight offense. Chorda will be put on her guard, but you have just risen to the prominence, and most people in Cronus Expanse have not yet even heard about Lady Theodora's departure yet. It must be made clear that the banner of Von Valencia soars as high as ever. If I may, I would recommend arriving incognito. You will have plenty of opportunities to save the sweetness of the burden of power, but right now is the last time you can take refuge in obscurity. This way your arrival will not draw much attention, and people will treat you as a person, not an almighty sovereign, anointed by the Emperor. I could turn some situations to your advantage. Alright, I've decided that I will arrive incognito. It will be done, Lord Captain. Big dispels. With your gracious permissions, I will return to my duties. Alright, finally, let's do some upgrades. Um, so here's the deal. I we'll do Argenta. We are for sure doing Arch Militant. Uh, can we get versatility um, and a bunch of other stuff. So we're gonna Um, gonna upgrade her. Uh, warrior. Oh man, I well, hold on. Let's. We're with Abelard, so we know we're gonna go Vanguard. An unstoppable force in the front line, uh, and a beacon for their allies. Even when facing extremely heavy fire, the Vanguard only grows stronger in the crucible of battle. So he has unyielding beacon. Each attack against the Vanguard grants them +1 second unyielding beacon. Each attack increases their resolve. So we're going to be generating resolve until their next turn. The Vanguard attacks each enemy that attacks the Vanguard's allies in a 3-cell radius around the Vanguard. All right, so oh wait, oh because we have you selected. So we know we're gonna do Vanguard here. Cassia, press the advantage. Oof. I think Master Tactician's better. Well, they're both good. Always in the thick of battle, their leadership and combat pattern. Master Tacticians are able to harness the momentum of their party to enhance the combat effectiveness of their allies. Scaling with party success, long-term single target buffs, momentum, versatility, tactical advantage. Um, how do we? I don't want to complete. I want to see. I want to see more. Alright, the Master Tactician gains +1 stack of tactical advantage for every 5 momentum gained by the Master Tactician for or their allies. Press advantage. Master Tactician powers their next attack to deal +4 additional damage to every stack of tactical advantage so the Master Tactician has. Oh wait. Grand Strategist analyzes the battlefield and can create specific areas providing bonuses to all allies, including the Grand Strategy's frontline, backline, and rear. In the first turn, all 3 areas can be created. The following turn, only one of them can be created. All areas can be moved with their corresponding abilities and cannot overlap. If there are 2 or more Grand Strategists in the party, combat tactics areas are common for all Grand Strategists, and the highest intelligence bonus fellowship bonus. Okay, that's. Uh, how do we? There we go. All right, so oh boy, it's gonna take a minute. Go back to Master Tactician. Master Tactician sets a 3x3 zone on the battlefield. All allies, including the Master Tactician, that have line of sight to any enemy inside the selected zone make an immediate single attack against a random enemy within the zone they can target with their weapons. Until the beginning of the Master Tactician next turn, all allies that attack as part. Um, okay, so that's the desperate measure. Master Tacticians, all allies, including the Master Tactician, have a line of sight of enemies inside the selected zone, make an immediate single attack against random within the zone that they can target with their weapons. Hmm. Uh, Master Tactician empowers your next attack to the deal +4% damage for every stack of tactical advantage. Momentum. Alright. I'm debating this too much. We're gonna go with Master Tactician. Well, I'm not sure. I think Grand Strategist might be. The Grand Strategist chooses one combat tactic area. Every ally inside that area gains an additional turn with a +1 AP. But I think the issue I'm having here is I don't know how to look up. Here we go. This is how we see it. So we can't see it. The Grand Strategist chooses one of the combat tactics area. For 1 round, all enemies in that area are forced to reroll successful dodge or parries against all attacks. Enemies that suffer damage are left with less than immediately die. The Grand Strategist chooses willpower covering. Enemies suffer a bunch of debuffs. Additional melee enemies have their MP reduced. Hmm. Grant you to choose one of the combat tactics for all allies in the ally gain um, cannot be overpenetrated. Gain immunity to the prone effect and gain grand strategist's deflection against area attacks. Additionally, they do not suffer injuries for receiving Okay, so we're gonna go with grand strategist after a lot of debate. Oh, we need to. Okay. Oh boy. Um, we gonna go willpower and side rating 2 is level 20. Ooh, that's nice, but hmm, we're gonna. Is there stuff that whenever an effect applied to the psyker increases the damage suffered by the target, this effect. We're looking for things that reduce warp peril. Uh, psyker, the psyker's next psychic power that targets only the target with corpus. When an enemy adjacent to an ally dies, that ally gains a stacking corpus conversion effect. If multiple enemies are adjacent to the dead enemy, one is selected at random. Psyker's next psychic power that targets only the target with corpus will not. Okay. Alright, the first psychic power used each turn increases the veil degradation by 2 points less. If the talent reduces the effect on veil degradation um, to less than 0, veil degradation instead decreases by 1. Alright, we're going to do that. Alright, we're going to go with intimidation. And seek the opening. Oh, here we go. Death Whisper. Has to make an attack that does not count towards the limit of attacks per turn. Um, I hmm, we're gonna go. We're gonna go with Bounty Hunter. I might regret this. Alright. We're gonna go with Assassin. And here, we haven't really looked at this yet. So, whenever the Arch-Militant uses an attack that is of a different type from the previous attack, the Arch-Militant gains attack of versatility. The types of attacks can be single shot or single melee attack, area shot, or burst shot. So we're gonna have to go between burst and single. The Arch-Militant gains +5 weapon skill and bow skill for every stack of versatility. So the thing here is I don't think this is capped. So that's why we're picking Arch Militant, and then if this is capped, then we might want to actually go Bounty Hunter. So we have versatility, devastating it. Wildfire. The Arch Militant next attack will cause 0 AP, will not count towards the attack limit this turn. Will grant a stack of versatility even if the attack type is the same as the last attack. The cost of this ability is reduced by -1 for every 4 stacks of versatility. So we're going to do Wildfire for sure. Um, uh, Devastating attack. These are all kind of nice. Um, we're going to do a Wildfire for sure. Okay. Where are we? After all of that. No, I did not want to. Oh boy. Oh crap. Master Helms and Raver, Lord Captain. Raver's voice over the Vox sounds weary rather than annoyed. I'm getting reports of several ships moving towards us. Judging by the fact they're not responding to our hails and telemetry shows a trail of macro batteries, they're not here for Chinwag. Reissue orders to prepare for battle at your command. Alright. Could this be the work of Kunrad? It's possible he could have hired some scum, or maybe it's just a pirate who saw the state of our ship and decided to push his luck. Alright, can we evade this combat? I don't think so, Lord Captain. There's no reason to. It'd be easier to blast 3 scum, smother to smithereens than evade them. Warren Footfall, we're coming in with a few macro salvos. Alright, on my order, all stations get ready for void combat. Here we go. I was hoping to go to my quarters. Let's cover. You have engaged enemies in space combat. Battles in space on the and on surface of planets work quite differently from one another. In space combat, the battlefield is separated into 3 zones marked by various degrees of brightness: acceleration zone, midpoint zone, and movement zone. Ships travel at high speeds even during combat, which is why both your ships and those of your enemies must move a certain distance each round. You can only end your turn once your ship has traversed this minimum required distance upon entering the movement of the zone. Alright, so we are going to pick this up in the next episode. I hope to see you there. If you want to see more, please drop a thumbs up and comment. Thanks for watching. Shadow Coast out.